We won't sit here and have 30 seconds or a minute of stuff like Gary does before you start the stream. We'll just get started. I'm upside up right on my iPad.
We are live.
Yeah,
Hmm. What did you do? A factory reset on your iPad?
just install the latest software update. How you doing, Mr. Morgan?
I'm good, thank you, Mr. 60 Minutes.
Or should I call you Mr. Russ?
Call me whatever you want, Tony. Anything
Uh,
that's legal.
I'll just call you Russ.
Call me that. You can call me sir. You can call me whatever you like.
So, so,
Lord.
so, so,
Anything.
so did you finally get to see Survivor Series? Did you make
Most of it,
time?
mate. Yes, I did. It was okay. Wasn't. It was all right. That's fine.
Yeah, imagine trying to do that 3.5 hours by yourself.
Did you actually do a show then?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
top
did an
man. I didn't notice.
entire 1-man 3.5 hours show.
Yeah, I'm sure you
So,
pulled it off very well.
so if you wanna, anybody gets very bored and wants to go to sleep, you can do my play-by-play for 3 hours and 40 minutes, however long it was. But
Oh, I did mention I was unavoidably, I was needed elsewhere, so I did manage to watch some of it on Sunday.
it wasn't too bad. The women's wasn't as good as it was the last time.
No, that's correct. I think it was just, I think it was more the players involved more than, and the absolute lack of storyline, really.
I,
I mean, most of them were just sort of thrown in there.
yeah, I mean, it's not like this one that you had the storyline for, except for Phil and whatever secret promise that Paul Heyman's making. And,
Correct. Yeah, I mean, I thought we were
and
going to be over this bloodline thing, but apparently it's just going to go on and on and on forever and ever and ever. I'm just getting
yeah,
really tired of it.
because earlier last week we were talking about like another one of the Pacific Islanders that were signed to WWE. So don't know if they'll start in NXT or replace one of the not so good Tongans. I really
Yeah,
don't
those
see the
Tongans
point.
aren't very good, are they? I thought they were
Uh,
meant to be quite the pair, but I haven't really seen too much of them to make me go, oh, wow, they're amazing.
it's not like the Pacific Islander and the Australian that Karrion Cross has. I mean, those are some massive fellows there.
We do say he's Australian, but he is Samoan.
Are they
Samoan
both?
heritage, so he's probably related to them in some form or fashion if you go back far enough.
Yeah. I mean, it's like and what's funny is you just keep following that same point. It's like all these other islands that used to be that are gone now because there's just this giant hot spot under the Pacific and the plate moves, but the hot spot stays where it's at. So keeps
Yeah, I mean,
churning out.
don't get me wrong, it's good having like all this family and all this that and the other, but it's just the storyline's just I just can't cope with it anymore. I'm just sick of bloodlines and it's just been going on too long.
Yeah, that's
park it and move it on. Just do something else.
and it's gonna be worse because you know you're gonna have the final boss come back. You still got Roman Reigns, which I was surprised at the end of this because in this photo here you see Roman Reigns with his UFO and somehow I didn't even catch it. I guess I was too busy talking to myself for during the time. I didn't see him sneak out of the cage. I didn't see the cage door was open and there was no solo.
Mm.
But like we said, women's match, not too much to it. You had Cargill that got car killed the week before. Still don't know why that is. We don't know if
Well, they say she's
to,
injured, but I think she's pulled because she's just not very good.
and it's so crazy because like they had this like 7 to 9 month build up with her. Then
Correct.
they're like,
Yeah.
then they
They've put
finally
a lot of
introduce.
investment in her. Correct. Yeah, they have. And from when she started till now, she hasn't got any better. And I don't know how that's possible. If you've been
eh,
in a
eh,
job that long, you should know how to do the basics at the very least.
Yeah, and that's kind of like it started probably about a month ago. They started putting Last Legend, and I can't remember her
Mm,
beat Fab or whatever her little tag team partner is, but they went from NXT to the main roster. Looks like they might stay there,
mm.
not non-drafted.
Mr.
Um,
Tom's in the chat. Say hello, Mr. Tom.
I didn't see the chat came up there.
Checking up on us, making
Mr.
sure
Tom,
we've lowered the tone to a
yeah,
substantial amount. Can we get
Mr.
Tom's just seeing if we can take it any lower than we have done previously?
He can always join us, and it can even get lower. That that would be even better. But any of other matches kind of on your mind that happened at Survivor Series, or just all pretty forgettable for you?
What's forgettable for me?
I said, well, any of other matches that,
Oh, any other matches that took what on Survivor Series?
yeah,
Uh, um, I liked the Intercontinental one. That was pretty good. The Braun Breakers just steamrolled the other guys, but it was actually quite good. I quite liked seeing Sheamus. I haven't seen him wrestle in quite a while. He's putting a good show in. The other guy, I think, who's the other guy? The other German guy.
first time you.
First time viewer. Who was the other guy in that match? Braun Breaker and Sheamus.
Um, who was all on that one? I can't remember.
I think that's right. And Bailey was a good shout, but yeah, just Cargill. I just hope they're not paying her top dollar because she's just not getting any better. I think they see her as a liability, which is a shame because like she looks fantastic. She looks amazing. Yeah, Kaiser, that's it. Thanks, Tom. I think that's the first time I've seen him wrestle at all. Or if I have seen him before, it wasn't that memorable.
Yeah, he's. I think he's fought a couple injuries. He, it seems like he's trying to fill in and get another intercontinental. I don't think they need any more because you already had for way too long. You had Walter with the belt 666 days. I'm surprised they didn't do something to shift that so it wasn't 666
Mm.
days.
Yeah, I mean Braun Breaker's he's the correct choice. I just don't know what they're going to do with him because I think if he's going to make that step up, he kind of needs a mouthpiece or he needs to sort of work on his delivery and his promos and stuff. Otherwise, he's just going to get to a ceiling and he's not going to be able to get into the main event. You can't just main event just on, oh, I'm a really good wrestler. You do have to have some sort of personality.
Yeah, that's kind of that's why Braun Strowman never took off. It's like they tried so many times reintroducing him and it never worked. And
Yeah, but Brock Lesnar's one, isn't he? Brock Lesnar was never a great promo, really, but he had Paul Heyman do all that shtick for him.
that's kind of like the Nia Jax. It's like she really can't do much, but they still put her out there. Still surprised Tiffany hasn't cashed in there.
Yeah, Tom's right. I mean, Paul Heyman would probably be amazing for Bron Breakker.
But I think because I'm still sitting there with the photo of a bloodline here, but I think he should
Sick of
have.
looking at him, Tony. Move it. Come on. I'm
I
dealing
think
with
we
it.
should.
I don't want to see any more pictures of Bloodline on any more shows. Do me head in.
Well,
Now, if you got a picture
you
of CM Punk, I'd rather look at that.
and don't have any of CM Punk. We
Why
got
not?
random photos of a main
Saturday
event.
night's main event. I haven't. When's that?
Uh, but
Next
next
weekend.
weekend.
Oof.
Then this weekend, Russ. I can always make you show up on a Saturday because they actually have NXT. They actually have it on a Saturday for once.
Yeah,
Then,
Saturday night's main
then
event. I know for a fact I will not be around because
I'm
it's
not sure. Yeah.
December's just like horrific for me with family commitments and stuff. Tongalo is the worst of 9,000 Bloodline members, which makes him the best.
It's just it's weird to get all those weird sounds. But yeah, the Tongans definitely need replaced. That I guess they're not pure enough of bloodline. That's why they're not allowed on Samoa. They were demoted to. It's like, get off my island.
Well, I don't think that's the case. I think they're quite. Oh, don't get me wrong. They'd probably be a good tag team. I think they should just break away from the bloodline and just put them as a separate tag team or something. Just this bloodline thing's just annoying now. But that's just me.
Yeah, it's just I'm surprised, and it's weird too because they started showing the couple of the matches that will happen on the next main event in January. Uh,
So what's Saturday
I,
night's main event? Is that just a is it a pay-per-view or is it just
it's on NBC. You can watch it on NBC, or you can watch it on
so it's not a
Peacock.
premium live event, it's just a show.
It's in the middle because yeah,
Yeah, I'll break them down.
but it's in the middle because, like I said, it's on NBC and Peacock. So I guess they're just trying to bring it back to having
Get their shit in before it all goes to Netflix.
just another, probably just. But what's weird, it actually continues afterwards as well.
I should just bring
But
Haku back,
but
I
but
reckon.
I don't care about this one at all. I didn't understand the storyline of a perfectly healthy finally for a full year, and they acted like it was like no amount of time. Randy Orton healthy for an entire year because he came back in November, supposedly injured by Mr. Owens there, but
Who else came
eh,
back last November, Tony?
somebody called Phil. This somebody I had somebody show up at my house, and
Best in the
and,
world. You can say it,
and,
it's fine.
and I come back to you and Tom still in utter shock, and Tom's like, "Phil's back.
Well, yeah,
Who's
because you went
back?
to the toilet and fell asleep.
Phil's back." No, somebody came to the house, but
Someone came to the
yeah,
house. What, when you're
but
watching a
but but
premium live event? No, you don't open the door.
it's like Tony's busy with a PLE. Come back another
Yeah.
day. My whole time's to be spent. Yes, Tom's famous Phil's back. Who's back? Phil's back. It's kind of like Run's house, but Phil's house. And it's weird. It doesn't seem like any wrestler likes Phil, except for the female wrestlers, because I don't know, they
He
look at
slept
him
with
as like
most
a.
of them.
But they like treating him like he's like their dad, and it's like I still don't understand the point of bringing Phil
Well, I think
back.
he does have issues with people. He's probably not the easiest guy in the world to get along with, but so far he hasn't really. They apparently said he's been a model citizen, because I can imagine Triple H will probably get rid of him quite easily if there's any breach of contract or something.
It's kind of weird. More of the AEW stuff was came to light yesterday.
What was that?
About that whole their situation, basically CM Punk being fired, but he was still there, basically silently fired, but and he's really not the one that screwed up. It was the rest of them, but I can't believe they kept him long enough there to get in two fights. That's what's the crazy part. But is
Well, no, it's obviously let's just know Tony Khan couldn't control what was going on, and that's just really bad in a sense, isn't it? Because there's no way that kind of stuff would have happened in WWE. But then, I suppose in AEW, if you've actually got active wrestlers that are part of the creative team or they're part of the higher up, then if you're going to have issues.
I just you have Rollins, you have CM Punk, you had you had Rollins making his reappearance last week. You had Drew McIntyre show back up this week. Don't know if he's the one that took out Jay Uso on Raw. Somebody took him out. Could have been Tom. Where were you at
Could have been
Monday
Tom.
night?
It was Tom backstage.
Tom was hiding back there. But I don't think Tom can be in two places at once.
Oh yeah, Rick, I read something about that. Yeah, so Dolph
And
Ziggler's
then
brother was on about something, wasn't he?
yeah, and you have this one that I care nothing about. I think Finn Balor's a very boring person unless he's dressed up like a demon.
No, he's a
Oh,
decent wrestler. Don't get me wrong, but there's just nothing for him. They need to sort of rework it. They need him to get into a feud with somebody else.
and Gunter. And I couldn't do this. I kept trying to do it for like 5 minutes, trying to come up with different names. Just say it, but I give you credit for your good German saying of his
But the thing
name.
is, with this match you're showing here, it's
Sure.
like it's Gunther versus Finn Balor. It's heel versus heel. I'm not really sort of invested in that.
Tom writing his novels. But one thing you didn't comment on, what did you think of Rhea Ripley's headgear?
What did I think of her headgear?
Yep.
No, I don't think it was very sexy, Tony. If that's what you want me to say.
You didn't like her satanic goat thing?
No, it's protective headgear. Was like I didn't find it quite as good as Cody Rhodes' his headgear back in the
Yeah.
2010s, but as
Eh,
facial gear goes, I suppose it's about a 7 out of 10.
it's kind of weird how they like don't know what to do with Cody Rhodes because they're like, let's have you go against the fat Canadian because
You couldn't have him in
I
two War Games matches in a row.
no, but I mean he could have been in some event. They could have invented something for him to do instead of this, but I think it's very boring.
I mean, as a match, it should be a decent watch. I mean, everyone quite likes Kevin Owens' in-ring work. I don't think it'll be a bad match. It's just I'm not wholly invested in it.
And it's weird because it's like they purposely set it up where those two would come out to a public area and they planned on it catching storm on social media, which it did.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean that's what you
Eh,
have to do. You have to do these little things just to sort of garner interest in it.
But then you had I just I'm really disappointed that they didn't do more with ugh, to do more with Randy because like his talking was perfected. He wasn't missing on any of his RKO's. They were out of the world with coming up with new inventive ways to do it.
Mm.
And which one do you like better? Do you like the Cody Cutters or do you like Randy?
Cody
Randy's moves.
Cutter's absolutely fine, I guess. It's as opposed to what, like a stunner or what?
Yeah. Yeah. Did you do your homework, Russ?
You keep switching between things.
No, but I'm
You're
coming to
jumping all
this.
over the place again. Do.
No, I've got them
Mario.
set up. I've got them set up.
I'm gonna call you Mario or Luigi.
And yeah, you got these guys, but like I said, did you watch the videos?
I did watch the videos, yes, Tony. What do you want me to say? New
But
Day, I've
but
never been massive fan of anyway. I don't really
yeah,
give two
I,
shits about them, but carry on.
yeah, they never caught my fancy, even though I mean, look at this. You got three black guys having.
Oh my god.
You have 30-year-olds going to like with certain websites and stores where you could spend $30 for asshole cereal. And last week you had them perfectly like fighting with each other. They've been doing it over the last 2 months, and now all of a sudden they hate Big E.
Well,
They went
to be
from
fair, I mean,
asshole cereal to being assholes.
as far as I'm concerned, New Day have been a non-entity for quite a while, really. They're Big E. I mean, I feel really sorry for Big E. Is he cleared to wrestle again, or I don't know, because obviously you see him on like pre-shows and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's been on the pre-shows for a while. I think he must be able to go at it again. It's funny because like they talked about all the wrestlers with broken necks that have came
Mm.
back, and they had one that I could care a bit less about. You had Joey Gargano's partner talking about he broke his neck, and he came back to wrestling, but I think that was a
Stone
poor.
Cold broke his neck.
I
Came
think
back.
that was a yeah. And they talked about Stone Cold, but Joey Gargano's partner, he could have stayed away from it. But it was to me, it was like a total surprise heel turn because, like I said, for two months, going like totally at each other, and then yeah, just total great acting last week, and I didn't know acting was so great that they had the entire intent to still stay together, even though they're like, "Oh, you need to do this move. You need to do this," and walking out with each other in the rings, and all the stuff they've done the past 2 months, and all it was all to just attack poor Big E. Hopefully, Big E gets to kill them all.
Well,
'Cause,
hopefully.
I mean, I think he was probably the most underrated of out of them, really. 'Cause
Who,
I
Big E?
thought, yeah, because for his size and stuff, I thought he did quite a bit of stuff. But one thing I wanted to know because they had on the stage the WrestleMania box of videos. I wonder if that was actually the box or they just reconstructed it.
The box of gimmicks.
I just wonder if they have this giant warehouse full of past, like,
Out of date bootios, yeah.
yeah, I was really wondering, like, are those like new bootios or those
Could
are
just be a
ones that,
box. Just could just be a box. So they'll just empty box.
man, they had little bowls of cereal.
Yeah, as I
But,
say, yeah,
well,
Big E was champion, yeah. So the only one who hasn't been champion or a world champion is what's his name? The
yeah,
other one.
yeah, and that's what weird is like, because he was talking about, oh, you're only champion because I gave
because
you the
yeah,
ability to be
which is
champion.
wrong.
But anyway, I just did this because surprise hill turns and your thoughts is either surprise hill turns or just hill turns you really liked or don't like. It doesn't matter.
Heel
With
turns that I like.
yep,
Hmm. Goldberg in WCW. I'm joking. Didn't like that. Didn't like that at all.
I mean some just don't work at all. They're like I don't even know why they come up with it.
No. Like, which one of the big shows heel turns did you like out of the 25 that he had?
And it's weird because you had again you had them trying to go over face and hill with the Miz. It
Yeah, but to
automatically
me, Miz is a
oh,
heel. He is a heel. He's a heel wrestler. I didn't like it when Mark Henry turned heel when he
I,
joined the Nation of Domination.
I don't know if you paid attention to what I posted about it. It was showing like carrying across like all these different sets of wrestlers that he came across that basically they went like crazier than like evil acts shortly after they came across carrying. I mean,
Mm, I didn't really understand that.
it was just showing like he appeared, then shortly thereafter they did something like like evil or way out of character, crazy or whatever. So it, they could have blamed Scarlett. That's who I would have blamed.
Oh, yeah, well, she's the only reason he's got a job.
I just wonder. I wonder what the pay rate is between those two. Certainly, she has to get more because I mean, she, like you said, only reason in my job. Yeah. So you talk about some of the failed hill turns.
Yes.
What which ones have you liked, or who do you just like that's constantly a hill?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, the Miz is always a heel. He's never a face. He's always been a heel to me. I did get upset when Hogan turned heel, though.
I just hate, but my thing with Hogan is just how he had like it looked like they put shoe polish on his sideburns. I know that was even earlier in his career and stuff, but
But
I
failed heel
just
turns, I mean, it's really hard, isn't it? I mean, if you fail, um, I think you really fail a heel turn. I can't really think of a failed heel turn. It's not like anyone like John Cena or anyone's turned heel or anything.
yeah
Let's say
yeah.
Goldberg. I suppose Goldberg's did because in WCW, because like that failed like quite just crashed and burned really. He joined Eric Bischoff and all that. The
Yeah,
fans didn't buy into it.
what about going further back, like Owen Hart,
Yeah, but
because
he
he's
was a
still
decent heel though.
yeah, I think he should have always been like a heel because
Yeah,
as a
I always
heel,
think of Owen Hart as
I,
more of a heel than a face.
as a heel, he's like a lot more entertaining than Brett. I mean, Brett's
He's a nugget.
German, but
He's a nugget. That's what he's a nugget.
uh, I mean, of course, he's doing the perfect wrestling moves, but
Yep, British Bulldog. It's decent heel as well.
yeah. I mean, even Natalia's dad, another one. Which I seen at such an early age because they had him in Mid South and Bull Night Art.
Yeah, yeah. To be fair, that was quite a bad one. Yeah, Rikishi. Yeah, that wasn't a great one, was it?
I mean, some of those there's just it seems like so many of them. It's either you're coming out of a mold, you're a heel, or you're a face. It's like you can't switch. Like you said, Hogan, you really can't make him a heel because it feels weird because all of us were rooting for him as little Hulkamaniacs and
All wrestlers say it's easier to be a heel than a face.
Tom, since you have me doing this job here, why don't you give me five new Hogan lies that you haven't got to tell us about before? That's your homework since you're making me press this button so many times.
Well, I heard that when he was fighting The Rock at WrestleMania, he had a broken rib and 110-degree fever or something. Well, that's what Hogan claimed anyway.
110 fever. That's like
Dead.
kill. That's like
You're
dead.
dead, basically. Yeah.
I remember because when when I had my leg amputated, I at first because it causes you to have less of a phantom pain, you get the spinal anesthesia. They put like this little sticker on you, then they pump the anesthesia into your spine.
Yes.
And it freaked me out because he kept asking me, are you still awake? Are you still awake?" So at first they just did the chopping my leg off bit,
Oh my God. Okay.
but they didn't heal it up because they didn't sew it up because they didn't wanted to make sure it wasn't to get any sores or anything. So anesthesia the next time. I'm like, there's no way I'm doing the spinal because it freaked me out. So
Mm.
I get the normal, and this whole long stories to tell you that I got 106-degree fever because they decided to. I was like barely able to hold my head up, but they sent me back to my room,
Mm.
gave me my 5 o'clock dinner. I don't know why they did give you dinner at 5 because dinner at 5 way too early. But anyway, I got a part of a Salisbury stuck hung up in my throat and ended up having this fever they could have never figure out, but I was dead sure that it was the Salisbury steak that almost.
So you had a Salisbury steak in hospital. What kind of hospital is this?
That's like horrible hospital food they give you though is Salisbury steak. It's not good. Not good at this hospital. None of their food's good, but the Salisbury steak's terrible. And I've came a few times it will like come in like meals or whatever, and it's like, nope, I'm never eating this again because it
Mm.
almost killed me. But
I noticed Tom
yeah,
says Hogan wrestled 400 days in a year. I think that's quite possible because if Hogan was going backwards and forwards on planes all over the world, he's made that time, hasn't he? essentially he's gone around the world so many times that he's added days onto his year, essentially.
But he's not as cool as Superman and can spin around the globe and change time. I thought that was always like probably the craziest plot out of those early Superman movies.
Aye, when he turned back time to stop Lois Lane dying, yeah.
And he's like,
Why doesn't he just do that all the time, man?
I know he can just like go back.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
if anything happens, he can just, oh yeah, I can just turn back time. It's nice.
he,
Tony, where are you? Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to get sidetracked on the machinations and the storylines of Superman 1 and 2, which was actually made at Pinewood Studios, which is about 5 miles down the road. Hogan was absolutely not wrestling twice a day between America and Japan.
I
He
hate
could
it
have
when
been
I
wrestling
get
on the plane ride from hell.
I I really want to know more about what all happened on that flight.
Oh, I think just watch the Dark Side of the Ring thing. I think that tells you pretty much everything you need to know.
I lost attention in the dark side of a ring because they're on like they've done 4 seasons. I think already to start a fifth. It's like that's just too many stuff they've told.
Not really.
Because
I think
like
some of the older stuff's pretty good. The stuff that's in the 80s and 90s, and most of those stuff sort of gets glossed over and is forgotten because obviously if it happened in territories, nobody really remembers it these days.
wrestled them twice. But if you're Superman, don't you like go back and you like kill Hitler and stuff? I mean,
I don't know about that, but you could just sort of just stop stuff happening that's happened, like that's just happened. You could literally just go and then sort it all out before it happens. Although, could you? Because if you're going back in time, you're the other you's still there, isn't it? Yeah, they never really explain that. It's not Back to the Future time travel.
and I was trying because I thought of this Clark Kent thing the other day because I can't remember who take keeps taking off their glasses and putting them on. And it's like, who do you think you are, Superman?
Mm.
Taking my glasses off and putting them back
Yeah, but
on.
then he kissed her and then she forgot about it. So wasn't it Ric Flair who was touching up some lady on the plane or something? I'm sure
Uh,
that'll come out in court eventually. Or someone will go ring the newspapers. Yes, Ric Flair touched me on a plane ride from hell.
I imagine he unappropriately touched lots of women. Just hopefully he during those moments he remembered to either do you. I have a question. You and Tom both have to give me an answer. Did has Hogan used or Flair used the razor blade more for cutting himself open? Or has he used it more for nose candy, white bony, whatever you want to
Oh my
call
god.
cocaine?
Well, Ric Flair's used it for definitely for
But which has he used it more for?
uh,
The-
chopping, I'd say. Whenever you see him these days, he's high as a kite usually. Well, he's usually smoking with his mate Mike Tyson.
Yep, he's turned into a stoner since, I guess,
He's an old
he's
man. I mean, he's probably got a lot of aches and pains. It's probably like your good self. He's probably got it for medicinal purposes.
no, but they have like their own like crop and stuff. They're
Well, yeah, fair
having
enough. Why not? I mean, Flair's probably been bankrupt more times than anyone else, I would imagine.
just as long as they don't mix the two together. Actually, the two together isn't that bad. I've one time. The bad part of this, I'm gonna say, is that it wasn't a strain. This was like back in the 90s when I'm like 17, 18 years old. But anyway, got this weed the guy called it experimental. Little did I know that it was laced with cocaine and PCP, and just to say that was not a good experience. I just remember me and my friend being so fucking high. We just went to my dad's house and laid down in front of the TV and watched whatever my dad had, and we didn't move the next like 4 to 5 hours until the fucking high was gone because we were beyond fucked. But I'm not go with the way that.
Well, PCP usually brings you down, doesn't it?
No, it's like a super upper. It's like it makes those guys basically they call it like the Superman drug because people think they can jump off buildings or take down 20 cops. They're always fighting the cops, and the cops say they're so much
Oh,
harder
okay,
to
yeah.
fight
Oh,
because
yeah,
they're.
yeah, yeah.
But I don't get it either because it's fucking horse tranquilizer, so why does it turn you into a fucking Superman?
Well, yeah, but I mean, ketamine as a tranquilizer, yeah, it should make you feel drowsy more than anything else. But it's
But I
more
think,
like only fools and horses, that is.
but I would go with the way Stan says it. He always says Claire with Flair. He's always bleeding. You have to remember starting in the. I think it was early '70s. Started cutting himself and just. I did. I don't know how he hasn't got hepatitis from like cutting so much with razors. You know, some of his nose candy razors have got mixed in with his claret razors.
Well, yeah, I mean, it could have been anything because obviously back in those days, I'm sure they didn't have blood tests with all the wrestlers that they were wrestling at the time. So yeah, you could have caught anything essentially. And if
Hmm.
you're blading yourself all the time in the early '80s or whatever,
Especially because like all those guys are getting high. Even my buddy, Mister Doctor Death, Steve Williams, he big coke addict. It's still weird how
JR's best buddy, yeah.
still wonder, kind of crazy how he called his kid Wyndham. He, he must have been a hell of a guy for like his two of his former teammates to name kids after him. Bill
Yeah,
Mike
Kendall
Rotunda.
Windham wasn't the greatest wrestler.
Uh,
Right, you got
anything
me for
else?
another 5 minutes, Tony. Hit me. What we got?
That's why I was asking. Anything else you've seen this week that's caught your attention? Any memes or stories or
Not really. Not from wrestling, mate. No, not really.
Uh,
I can't wait for Royal Rumble. When's Royal Rumble? January.
It's February 1st.
February. Oh my god. So no pay-per-view
Elimination
in January.
Elimination Chamber. It's March 1st since obviously 28 days in
Yeah, February.
February, so
Short
they're on
month.
the same date. So it's where they don't have any PLE of the
In
main
January.
brand in January.
No
So,
NXT or anything.
no, you
I'm
got NXT. Like I said, you got NXT this weekend. You have that coming up, which they have these Iron Man matches, which are it's really a good like format they have on these.
already a fan of Iron Man matches. Camille, I'm surprised you went to AEW. I thought you would have gone to WWE, but
I know I can't wait for Tom to join us so we can just show pictures of Camille for like
I
20 minutes.
don't mind Camille. Solid citizen.
Yeah, but we don't have to use any zooms on her because
Why did they extend the NFL season for? Bad weather?
no, they're always trying to get more games out of these players. It's like players want more money, so owners are like, if we're to pay you more money,
You
we
play more
get
games.
yep. So, which I don't like because obviously if you're having more games, that means your old records for yards ran, passing
Yeah.
yards, touchdowns, all that stuff goes out the window because
Well, no, you
it's
can't because
different.
it's to say you could just do it most yards in a regular season, and then you can just go most yards in an extended season. So the record will still stand.
Yeah, but to me, I got started talking about this last week because we were talking about having either the how the Premier League. Tom always mentions you still had the first division before the Premier League, and I was talking about the stats, and
Mm.
he's like, it happened before. But to me, it's separate because obviously there are less games. You had more games before.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I think you have to look at things as generations instead of as a whole. I mean, you can do the eye test and say, yeah, that guy would succeed no matter the error or whatever. But I'm
Mm.
not sure where I was going with that. But I think Deadline will be pretty good Saturday. It's unfortunately it's at 1 p.m. for you and Tom. So I don't know if I can find anybody to watch it with me to do a watch along or not. I'm not to do a watch along by myself. So we'll see if I can find anybody to join me.
Yes, unfortunately, yeah, Saturday night's main event. Yeah, I can't do. We've definitely got family coming down that weekend, so I will be indisposed. But I will be back for
Stop,
Royal
stop.
Rumble, I'm sure.
Send you
I
to Quat.
will make sure that I'm back for that because that's my favourite.
You want to read Tom's comment here?
Tony talking about a hat trick of Penn stat, which isn't relevant to a number of games in the season, to be fair to me. If you're talking about American football, I've got no idea.
No, was talking about, but we were talking about Premier League
No,
for First Division English football.
talking about hat trick of Penn stat. Yeah, that's very hat trick of penalties. It's not really a very common thing.
That was the first time it happened in Premier League. Then you had Arsenal goals. That was the most goals and a half in the Premier League. Then there was some other record too on Saturday. I can't remember the other one, but
Yeah, 7 goals and a half. It means
then nothing happened that second half.
no,
That's
nothing.
why.
Yeah, it was crap. What was the second half? And I was just like, oh my god.
That's why Tom made a
To be fair,
comeback.
it was fair that Arsenal. If Arsenal hadn't scored that 5th goal before half time, I think the second half would have been a lot different.
Tom made a comeback on the trip. Of course, Tom's always on a road trip, but came back on the trip. So we spent
Oh, we stayed up for
the
the actual trip. The one at night, yeah.
Yep, he came and seen us.
Yeah,
Well,
of course they are.
thank you, Tom, for joining us. I didn't get very well prepared this week because health stuff. Always the health stuff.
Yeah, just want to wish Alonso all the best. See, because he is in hospital at the moment.
Doesn't Alonso know that's like my gimmick? He can't show up at
Yeah, he's
Las Vegas.
stolen your gimmick. Yeah, you're the one who's usually in hospital with a 100-degree fever after falling asleep in the garden.
Yeah, but I have a 160-degree fever from having the piece of Salisbury steak hung up in my throat.
So Salisbury steak sounds like quite a upmarket item, to be fair.
Nah, it's pretty crappy because they put like this brown, that really dark brown
Yeah, they
gravy in it.
didn't do it
It's just
medium rare for you, no.
yeah, it's
I should
not
have come
very
around and
good.
asked you prior to cooking it. How'd you like it?
How do you like your steak?
Should have got your little black pepper sauce and a
Tom
few
giving us
chunky
best.
chips.
Tom and joining me and Russ with Alonso. Speedy recovery. Hopefully, it's something not too serious. Nowadays, with luckily, that's like the biggest advancements, like heart stuff, because like used to be like the death of you when they would have to do like a bypass surgery. Now they can like do quadruple bypass with just taking those. They take them up.
I was going
It's
to say, exactly,
weird
what's the difference between a bypass and a quadruple bypass? Why do you have to do 4 bypasses?
because of the four different chambers of your heart. They have to go in there and they take the pig heart valves and just replace them, and it works just fine. It's weird how like the anatomies work so similar of a pig minus their stomach's different, but other than that, we're pretty similar to a pig, oddly enough.
I'm going to say a pig heart could, if it was bigger, it could just fit straight into a human body.
I wonder if that
But
makes
there you go.
this.
That's what people are here for, to hear us talk about heart transplants and
But
quadruple bypasses and
again, if Tom or anybody else wants to join me Saturday so I can do the NXT
Yeah,
Deadline?
sorry. Saturday you're on your. I'm not doing
I
any NXT. Sod that. No chance. I'm out.
I know you're not. You don't like doing it anyway. You're definitely
I'm
not
out.
gonna like
Alan
doing it at
Sugar. I'm
one.
out. Sorry.
Don't like doing it at 1 p.m. Thank you, Tom and Mr. Tom.
Thank you,
Tom,
Tom, and Mr. Tom. Three separate guys for
yeah,
joining us.
for all the comments. It's much better hitting sh- show the Tom's comment than it was Saturday.
What time is it in the UK? It is 11:05, Tom. I know you're talking about Saturday.
It's one.
1 in the
One.
morning.
Yeah.
What? So
It's a
Sunday
se-
morning.
yeah, it's a seven Eastern start.
So Sunday morning,
Sorry.
essentially.
It's actually midnight, Tom. Sorry, midnight start because it's 7 Eastern, so it's six Central, and there's 6 hours difference. So it's at a witching
Yeah, I
hour.
was
It's
thinking
at
about Dragon's
midnight.
Den. Yeah, not Alan Sugar.
But
Theo Fafetis, who used to
but
be chairman of Millwall FC.
but anyway, thanks for joining us. Thanks.
No, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me, Tony.
Next time I'll be more prepared. I mean, wasn't too much happened really
No,
on
not a lot
Raw.
happened. No, it
You,
wasn't
you,
very much. I mean, I saw most of Survivor Series, so that was absolutely fine. So
you,
just send me some revision if you want me to look things up. That's fine.
yeah. So we'll catch you again at this time next Thursday.
Will do.
And
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Mainly
and
Tom.
and goodbye, everybody, and all the variations of Tom. It's kind of like Deadpool, how you see like Deadpool and like all these different things.
Different variations of Tom.
Yep. Because I did that for the Deadpool Wolverine movie,
But
which I
do they regenerate
fully
though?
yeah, they have to regenerate. But anyway, sayonara, goodbye. I'll catch
Thank
you
you.
guys next week, and somehow
Can you
see
find the button this week? Can you find the button this week? Because we were here for like 5 minutes last week.
I had the button, but it
That
went
was the
away.
funniest thing with
I
anyone who's
I
watching, go back and watch last week's show. Watch the last 5 minutes.
I found a secret to what you do, Russ.
Yeah, you just turn your
Okay.
laptop off.
No, it keeps going if I turn my laptop off. But what I do, I go to the Restream main page, and I can go here and I click the 3 dots, and at the bottom it says stop stream, and we'll see what happens.